According to the Municipal Demarcation Board, when population-dense areas cross the upper threshold, the board is legally required to move voting districts into adjacent wards to restore the balance. Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission of South Africa says for the 2026 local government elections, there's been a slight increase in the overall number of councillors in the country, although there are variations from one province to another. Well, to unpack this and the IEC's role in ward boundaries after demarcation, we are joined by the General Manager for Electoral Matters at the IEC, James Aphane. James, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Explain to us, James, how demarcation works and how it impacts voting districts and voting demarcation, so to speak.
Good evening, Oliver and the viewers of SABC. Before we get into the subject of demarcation, let's just quickly isolate the different responsibilities of the two organizations. The MDB, the Municipal Demarcation Board, as the word suggests, is about demarcation, either of municipal boundaries or the ward boundaries. Those are political boundaries. And when it comes to the IEC, we are responsible for administration of elections. So we use the Municipal Demarcation Board's boundaries either in terms of the municipal boundaries and wards to be able to run elections.
Yeah, I understand that it is not an incontrovertible process. That is to say, oftentimes the decisions of the Demarcation Board can be challenged after the fact. Does that then influence how a particular election was run in a particular ward and or municipality pertaining to the voting districts there? Should, say, hypothetically speaking, a court of law reverse a demarcation decision?
Yes, it is indeed the case. You will recall that the manner in which the wards, let's just stick to the wards, have been determined is based on the IEC's registered population. So if the population increases, chances are, based on the minister's formula, it is possible that the number of wards will increase. As you will see, compared to 2021 and 2026, there is a net increase of 20 wards. In certain provinces, there's been a reduction. In other cases, there's been an increase. So, yeah, it is possible that we may be challenged as far as the number of wards and the determination thereof. But we as the IEC, we're just focusing on administration within those wards. If people are not happy with regards to the ward boundaries, they need to challenge or approach the Municipal Demarcation Board, and obviously if they're not happy, they will have to seek legal recourse.
Yeah. So tell me then, what happens after the fact? If a court challenge is lodged and or successful after an election has taken place and the court reverses the Demarcation Board's decision, does the IEC bear any responsibility to, within immediately after such a court order, reverse the electoral result then?
Not at all. So I think I probably missed your line of questioning at the beginning. Once the MDB has published the final wards, those are final. Let's just look at what happened in KZN, for instance. There was a legal challenge for 4 municipalities, and eventually the court decided that the wards will remain as they were because there was an intention to change those wards. Now, when we run elections as the IEC, we are using those boundaries as they've been determined and published by the Municipal Demarcation Board. So there is no room for us as the IEC to reverse any results based on challenges to the ward boundaries. Okay. The ward boundaries are final, yes.
Whose responsibility is it to determine the number of council seats that are available in a council? Of course, this has a lot to do with population density. Whose responsibility is it? And if you know, perhaps explain to us how that calculation is performed.
That is the responsibility of the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. So what he does, he publishes a formula, and that formula, from what I see in the past, and this is actually a competence of both COCTA and MDB, but me as an individual like yourself, never mind I work formula for the IEC. The formula has been the same, but the population has increased. What that means is in certain areas we're going to have increases in terms of wards. So the minister published the formula on how many councillors should be, and the MDB goes ahead and determines the wards for those councils, after which the minister has published the formula on how many councillors should be for each municipality.
And just from a timeline perspective, what is, in an election cycle period, what is the latest point within which the Demarcation Board can make a decision, and what is the latest point within which that takes effect to the IEC's administration of the election?
A very, very important question, because this question will obviously keep on coming. Let's put categories of changes to the Municipal Demarcation Board's outer boundaries. Let's start with outer boundaries, and I don't know how much time we have for this. But when it comes to outer boundaries, the MDB consistently updates the outer boundaries. These outer boundaries are municipal boundaries. And if there are small corrections, they will apply those changes immediately. But if there are big changes, such as in Kopanu, there's a new municipality now in Free State called FS 164, according to the code. The name is yet to be published. So if there's a big change, that big change will only happen on the date of the election. But from a planning perspective, we as the IEC need to prepare and run elections for that municipality, which means theoretically, that municipality exists on our books because we need to make sure that everything happens for that municipality. So in terms of timing, all the big changes for municipalities will happen on the date of the election.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much, James, for explaining this to us. Really do appreciate it.